My name is Claudia ten Hafe. It's 1 o'clock or just after on November the 1st. Here in Jakarta, it's 7 o'clock, but in Geneva, it's 1 o'clock, and we would like to commence the meeting. We shall now begin.
Video, please. Could we have the...
With that, it's my honor to introduce to you Her Excellency Ms. Siti Nurbaya, the Minister of Environment and Forestry of the Republic of Indonesia.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome everyone to the online segment of the fourth meeting of the Conference of the Parties COP-4 of the Minamata Convention. Also, allow me to extend a special welcome to Ms. Inger Anderson, the Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, Ms. Monica Stankiewicz, Executive Secretary of the Minamata Convention, and Ms. Rosa Vivin Ratnawati, President of the COP-4, who will lead the proceeding of our COP. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, today, albeit online, we managed to gather here to collectively discuss ways and strategies in addressing one of the global environmental concerns, which is mercury. And on the other side of the world, currently, another important meeting of global environmental problem is also taking place, the climate change. These global environmental challenges gradually begin to connect with each other. When one is speaking about climate change, one cannot leave out the release of mercury's emission. Or when the discussion is about biodiversity, pollution of mercury simply becomes unavoidable. The interconnectedness is just a challenge that we are facing right now, a challenge that requires holistic approach to address it, on top of the global pandemic that shocks the world with its unprecedented impacts. And as members of Minamata Convention, this global condition teaches us at least two lessons. First, the Minamata Convention needs to be adaptive and agile in responding to the global environmental challenges. And second, that the Minamata Convention needs to be forward-looking despite its young age. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, as a reflection to the global challenge, we have opted to convene the COP-4 into two sessions, ensuring that nothing will impede us in implementing our global commitment to make mercury history. Here in Indonesia, as the host of COP-4, we are trying our utmost efforts to facilitate member parties to resolve pressing issues such as effectiveness evaluation and national reporting, and encourage understanding and collaboration amongst member parties to have a smooth and fruitful conference. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the work to make mercury history cannot be carried out only by a single country. Each of us needs to do their part based on respective national circumstances and conditions. I can assure that it is not an easy task, but also it is not impossible, as long as we have the conviction and remains loyal to our global commitment. Together we can gradually reduce and eliminate the use of mercury as mandated by our convention. In our case, I'm happy to share that Indonesia have implemented several national measures in four priority sectors. For example, last year in manufacturing sector, we reduced 374 kilograms of mercury use from lamp and battery industries. In energy sector, we controlled 710 kilograms of mercury emission from coal-fired power plant, and in health sector, we reduced 4.7 tons of mercury through the phasing out and withdrawal of mercury containing medical devices and dental amalgam from health facilities. Specifically on a SGM sector, we close major ESGM sites and build non-mercury gold processing facilities, thereby reducing of over 12.4 tons of mercury potential use. We also banned the import and distribution of mercury and provided an effective and economically efficient non-mercury gold processing technology as an alternative, as well as empower the community economy based on local wisdom with the aim of shifting their livelihood from ESGM activities. By far, our achievements are the result of the government's commitment to achieve Indonesia free mercury by 2030. As governed by presidential regulation on the action plan for mercury reduction and elimination, which is followed by several technical regulations at the ministerial level. This action plan is prepared and implemented in an integrated manner by the government from the national to provincial and district level, which indicates a strong commitment for all stakeholders in supporting mercury reduction and elimination measures. Furthermore, in anticipating the challenge of mercury pollution in the future, Indonesia has built Mercury and Environmental Metrology Laboratory, which aims to support mercury reduction and elimination program through mercury research and testing. We foresee this mercury laboratory as one of the center of excellence of mercury in the region, not only in the Southeast Asia, but also in the Asia-Pacific region. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, as the world awaits on how COP-4 of Minamata Convention unfolds, we need to send the right signals to the world that the Minamata Convention continues to provide solution of global environmental problems without compromising the process of the internal consolidation that is taking place. It is against this background that Indonesia's presidency proposes the Bali Declaration on combating global illegal trade of mercury. It is non-binding in nature and generally aims to address the pressing issue of global illegal trade in mercury. In the long term, the declaration is expected to provide a foundation for possible international governance. The declaration will assist not only the Minamata Convention in meeting its general obligation, but also send the right signal to the international community that in its young age, the Minamata Convention can play a significant part in addressing global environmental challenges. Accordingly, Indonesia seeks collective support from member countries of the Minamata Convention to the draft declaration. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I wish all delegates to have a productive and fruitful deliberation, including the decision on the format of the second session of the COP-4 and your support to the Bali Declaration on combating global illegal trade of mercury. Together, let's make mercury history. Stay safe and stay healthy, and looking forward to seeing you all in Bali next year. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Minister, for your clear words and your call to action. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you and call on UN Under-Secretary General and Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, Ms. Inge Anderson. Over to you in Nairobi.
Thank you very much indeed.
Madam Executive Director, if you could raise your hand again, I will give you the floor. Yes, the mic is on again, please.
Try a second time round here. I send you greetings from Nairobi, and it's a pleasure to speak after Her Excellency Siti Nurbaya Bakar, to whom I send greetings and good wishes as she departs for Glasgow. To Your Excellency Rosa Ratnawati of Indonesia, who is the president of the fourth meeting of the Conference of Parties, and to my colleague, Monica Stankiewicz, who is the Executive Secretary, of course, of Minamata, and to all Excellencies, distinguished delegates and colleagues. I'm very honored to address you today at the first segment of the fourth meeting of the Conference of Parties to the Minamata Convention on Mercury. My appreciation goes to the Minamata Secretariat under the leadership of its Executive Secretary, Ms. Stankiewicz, and the President of this meeting, Ms. Ratnawati. The triple planetary crisis, as we speak of in UNEP, the crisis of climate change, the crisis of biodiversity loss, and the crisis of pollution, that crisis is placing our societies, our economies, and our planet in grave peril. We will only address these crises if we work together through concerted and coordinated efforts, such as those carried out under the Minamata Convention. We've only started untangling the links between mercury pollution, biodiversity loss, climate change, etc. But one thing is clear. They reinforce each other, they damage our health, they damage our environment. As the Global Mercury Assessment Report of 2018 told us, human activities have increased total atmospheric mercury concentration by about 450% above natural levels. As part of healing our planet, the use of mercury in artisanal and small-scale gold mining, medical devices, dental amalgam, and industrial processes must end and give way to sustainable alternatives. And meanwhile, the global challenge of the illegal mercury trade will need to be addressed through innovative thinking and collective action. In this regard, I congratulate Indonesia for its trailblazing efforts with the Bali Declaration to combat the illegal trade of mercury. Beyond the specifics, we need to look at a more coherent and more effective ways to address inherently linked environmental problems. The report commissioned by the Minamata Secretariat and the BRS Secretariat demonstrate that the mutually effective benefits of actions to address the triple planetary crisis exist. The ongoing processes to develop the post-2020 global biodiversity framework and a strategic approach to the sound management of chemicals provide an impetus for active engagement between the biodiversity and the chemicals and waste families. We must seize this opportunity to promote coherent implementation across the international environmental agenda with the Minamata Convention and its 135 parties playing their part. Your work this week and in the months ahead will define some of the bold and urgent steps that we need to take to make our planet healthy again. It will also contribute to building positive momentum towards the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the creation of UNEP and at the UN Conference on the Environment held in Stockholm in 1972. Let me assure you that UNEP will continue to support your efforts in implementing the Minamata Convention, including through the UNEP Global Mercury Partnership. I would also like to encourage other countries who have not yet done so to join the Minamata Convention to make it a truly global endeavor. And in closing, let me extend to all a warm invitation to join us here in Nairobi for UNEA 5.2, which we will endeavor to hold at the end of February, early March in 2022. Together, we can find sustainable alternatives to mercury, and we can contribute to healthier people and healthier planet. I wish all delegates much success as you proceed with this COP, and look forward to seeing you for the second part of the COP in beautiful Indonesia at the next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words. And as you yourself get ready to depart to Glasgow, we were very happy that you could join us. Thank you very much. And now it gives me great pleasure to warmly welcome our Executive Secretary, Monica Stankiewicz. Please.
Thank you so much. Excellency Nurbaya Bakar, the Executive Director Inger Anderson, Madam President Ratnavati, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to welcome you to the first online segment of the fourth meeting of the Conference of the Parties to this remarkable convention that has 135 parties already. This week's meeting is a celebration of the global commitment to putting mercury pollution to an end, built on the tragic story of many people whose health has been affected by mercury, and on the recognition that throughout the world, people continue to be at grave risk due to mercury exposure. Importantly, it is also an opportunity for you, the parties, to advance the work under the convention, and when doing so, to embrace strong voices from civil society and indigenous peoples. For our collective implementation efforts to be effective, it is imperative that the needs of developing countries and countries with economies in transition, and especially least developed parties, are considered as expressed in Article 13 of the Convention on Financial Resources and Mechanism. The Convention instructs us that multilateral, regional, and bilateral sources of financial and technical assistance are encouraged on an urgent basis. These sources of support are needed to unlock larger investments and co-benefits that both the Minister and the Executive Director was talking about, the triple planetary crisis that the world is currently tackling. In this context, I'm grateful to Norway, Germany, Austria, the United States, Sweden, France, Switzerland, the Netherlands, and Denmark for your contributions to the third round of the specific international program to support capacity building and technical assistance. The Secretariat remains committed to bring party needs, including those to be expressed under the upcoming full national reporting, to the attention of donors, of potential donors, so we are able to launch a fourth round and future rounds of the specific international program successfully. Likewise, it is essential that the aid replenishment of the JEF Trust Fund is robust and ensures the continued strong support that the JEF has provided for the convention implementation consistent with the COP's guidance. I'm looking forward to your discussions on JEF aid during this segment of the COP. As the convention is still in its early stages of implementation, there are many tasks ahead of you nationally, and I would like to applaud parties for all the efforts you have been undertaking, especially in the extremely difficult situation of the COVID-19 pandemic, and for addressing matters of utmost importance, such as phasing out manufacturing, import, and export of listed mercury-added products by 2020 deadline, developing and implementing national action plans for artisanal and small-scale gold mining, reducing emissions and releases, and regulating mercury supply and trade. To this end, contributions from Switzerland, Japan, EU, Sweden, and Norway to the Special Trust Fund of the Convention have enabled the Secretariat to undertake important activities in the intersessional period. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, let me express that it has been a great honor for me to work with you all and to be part of the Secretariat team. I thank 1,000 participants for coming together in this COP, and I look forward to its successful outcome. Now it gives me a great pleasure to hand over to Madame Rosa Ratnavati, the President of the fourth meeting of the Conference of the Parties, to formally open the proceedings of the COP. Madam President, I invite you to take the podium.
Executive Director of UNEP, Madam Inger Anderson, Executive Secretary of the Minamata Convention on Mercury, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening from Jakarta, good morning, and good afternoon to all of you. I welcome all delegates to COP-4 of the Minamata Convention on Mercury. It is really a great honor for me to serve you all in chairing this meeting. Allow me to express my sincere appreciation to all parties for continuously working hard in strengthening, safeguarding, and implementing the convention. I would also like to extend my appreciation to the Secretariat for its continued support and close cooperation in the preparation of COP-4. Almost 2 years ago, COP-3 in Geneva in 2019 mandated Indonesia to host COP-4 and myself to become COP-4 president. At that time, none predicted that such tremendous challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic would happen. Things go differently in reality. The pandemic has changed everything, including our COP 4.1. Over the last 2 years, our preparation for COP 4 has been facing many difficulties due to the pandemic, ranging from logistical aspects to substantive matters. Despite numerous challenges related to the pandemic, we as the Minamata Convention family have been working hard to remain creative and innovative, as we fully understand that no action is not an option. Elimination of mercury at global and national level should continue. Through numerous bureau meetings and regional consultation, we have decided by COP4 are organized into 2 parts: the online segment this week and the face-to-face meeting in Bali, Indonesia. This online segment will discuss a few time-sensitive agenda items. As agreed by the Bureau and communicated to parties, main objective of COP 4.1 is to adopt decisions on program of work and budget and dates of COP 4.2. At COP 4.1, we will also introduce documents and open discussion on effectiveness evaluation, national reporting, and financial mechanism related to GEF aid replenishment. Substantive matters will be discussed and adopted in the in-person meeting. Despite discussing selected agenda items, COP 4.1 is as important as COP 4.2. COP 4.1 should give a strong basis for us to reach consensus on many substantive issues at COP 4.2. In that regard, as COP 4 President, I would like to urge all delegates to make the best and most effective use of COP 4.1 to exchange views, share opinions and experiences, and work constructively. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic should not stop or weaken our efforts to eliminate mercury. It is our collective obligation to contribute to ensuring health and well-being of our future generation by phasing out mercury. Despite all challenges, I believe that this week we can take important steps which contribute to our concerted efforts to create a free mercury world. With your kind and full support, I wish this meeting a productive and successful one. Thank you very much.